Grabbing a frying pan, she was ready to fight back, convinced she'd make headlines for taking down an intruder. But it turned out to be Dao Ming, who hugged her tightly, worried for her safety. He insisted she leave the house and come with him, since it wasn't safe there anymore. She refused, so he offered to stay the night to protect her, but she forced him out despite his protests. Still, he stayed outside the whole night, keeping watch. The next day, as she was returning home, she noticed lights on in the supposedly vacant house next door. Curious, she knocked on the door to alert whoever was inside, only to find Dao Ming, who had rented the place to keep an eye on her. He tried to brush it off, saying, "It's just between us. I'm keeping an eye on my pet in case it runs away." Chelsea glared at him. "Oh, so I'm the pet now. Thanks a lot." That night, Dao Ming found himself unable to sleep. He admired Chelsea's resilience in handling her challenging circumstances and felt lucky to live so close to her. He almost went over to see her, but stopped himself, not wanting her to misunderstand. Instead, he went out for fresh air, only to bump into her outside. Sitting together, she asked him why he was awake. He confessed he couldn't sleep and cheekily asked her for a hug before she left. "Just one hug?" she asked skeptically. "Come on, why not make it two?" he teased. But he knew deep down that if she indulged him, he wouldn't let her go. He was greedy like that. The next day, Chelsea returned home and found him missing. She waited for a long time, growing frustrated because all she could do was to say. Hearing scratching noises, she went to investigate and found him swatting mosquitoes. Annoyed, she scolded him, saying the place was too tough for him to handle and he should return home, but he insisted. Feeling moved, she offered. Dao Ming smirked. "But my mom used to hug me like this." She rolled her eyes and jokingly sang, "I'll cook us a feast of pigeons tomorrow." "Your singing is awful," he retorted, pretending to cover his ears. She playfully pinched his ear to teach him a lesson. As they settled in, she admitted she felt happy for once because he was trying to understand her life better. Dao Ming, touched, whispered that he wanted to turn around and hug her, but she was already fast asleep. One day, as she was heading home, she noticed his bodyguards lurking nearby. Panicked, she called him to warn him, only to find out he was already inside. Rushing in, she grabbed him, and they decided to find a safe place to hide. They ended up at his house, figuring his mother would never suspect he'd bring her there. He distracted the bodyguard while Chelsea snuck inside. After freshening up, she came out wearing his clothes, catching him off guard. He couldn't resist inching closer to her, but she placed her hand on his chest, stopping him. He asked her directly, "Are you uncomfortable with us getting closer, or are you afraid of me?" She hesitated, as always, unsure of how to proceed in their relationship. Before they could figure out what to do, they decided to leave him alone. Before they could figure it out, his sister barged in, furious, thinking Dao Ming was pressuring Chelsea into something she didn't want. But Chelsea stood up for him, admitting she was the one who allowed it. Dao Ming was thrilled their relationship had progressed, but his sister scolded him, warning him not to rush things or take their relationship further in secrecy. He needed to ask her when she would feel ready to take their relationship to the next level, not decide on his own. His sister told them to carry on with whatever they were doing while she distracted the bodyguards for their sake. So he asked her, "When do you think we should move forward in our relationship?" One day, as he was heading home, the bodyguard questioned him about bringing his girlfriend over. He simply replied. The bodyguard reassured him. Still, Dao Ming felt something suspicious in their behavior. When he confronted his sister, she admitted she had instructed the bodyguards not to interfere. At university, the moment he saw Chelsea, he hugged her, but she panicked, worried someone might see them. He reassured her, saying, later, Chelsea heard from her friend Sherry that Zeman had been toying with her feelings again, acting distant one moment, then drawing closer the next. Furious, Chelsea demanded that Dao Ming take her to confront Zeman, or else she would break up with him. When they got to Zeman, he was hanging out with other girls. Chelsea didn't hold back, scolding him. "How dare you sit here with other girls after leading Sherry on like that?" She berated him outside, calling him out for treating her friend's emotions like a game. But Shemen coldly replied, "Mind your own business," before walking away, leaving Chelsea fuming. Even Sherry was upset with Chelsea for interfering, saying it made her look desperate, as if she had sent Chelsea to fight her battles. However, Sherry refused to give up and asked Chelsea to help her track him down again. Chelsea, though reluctant, agreed after hearing he might be attending an art exhibition. They all decided to wait for him there. With Sherry's friends there, killing time on their phones, now Chelsea grew increasingly frustrated. She snapped at Dao Ming, who told her to calm down and promised to call Jimen, but his phone was off. As night fell, Chelsea noticed Dao Ming looking drowsy and warned him, "You'll hurt your back if you sleep like that." But he seemed content, leaning close to her. Eventually, when Sherry suggested giving up and trying again another day, Zeman finally arrived. Sherry seized the moment to confess her feelings to him, and, to everyone's relief, he agreed to hear her out. With that resolved, Dao Ming's friend Mozzie jokingly said, "Now that the drama's over, we can go home. Thanks for sticking with us, guys." Meanwhile, Dao Ming had made a big decision. He wanted Chelsea to join him in London. He wasn't going to keep their relationship a secret forever. He needed to convince his mother and make it official. At first, his mother was opposed, but she eventually decided to trust him. One day, while they were out together, Chelsea spotted a cute bracelet. The shopkeeper explained it was Italian, and with a simple press, the other person's bracelet would light up, signaling that you were thinking about them. After they finished their meal, Dao Ming offered to pay, but Chelsea insisted on splitting the bill. However, when he tried to pay, his card was declined. His mother had blocked it. Embarrassed, he let Chelsea cover the bill. Outside, he vented his frustration about his mother's meddling, but Chelsea reassured him, saying, "No matter what happens, I'll stay by your side." When they returned home, she offered to cook for him sometime. He teased, "Sure, I'm used to food that gives me stomach aches." Before leaving, he asked for a kiss, saying, "I don't know if there will be a next time." She kissed him on the cheek, unaware it truly would be the last time. Moments later, his bodyguards arrived to take him back to London by force. He silently called Mozzie, letting him overhear everything so he'd understand the situation. When Chelsea was informed that Dao Ming had been dragged back to London, she decided to be brave and follow him there, just like he had always tried to be close to her. When she arrived in London, she called Mozzie to let him know she was safe. He warned her to keep an eye on her belongings to avoid getting robbed. As she waited, two strangers approached her. They started sweet-talking her, pulling a fast one, and ended up stealing her belongings. Even after she ran herself out of breath trying to catch them, she couldn't. Exhausted, she spotted a Chinese restaurant and decided to go in. The woman there was kind and welcoming, and Chelsea shared her story about coming to London to look for her boyfriend. But guess who she saw? Thomas, the same Thomas from China. He sat with her as she explained what had happened and why she was there. He reassured her, saying that the Ali Dao Ming family name was well known in London and that he could help her find him.